Alright, what is going on, guys? I am sorry for not responding to a lot of you. I've been very busy lately and kind of trying to enjoy myself a little bit since it's nicer weather out and whatnot. But basically, shop update. I got a new toolbox here. Harbor Freight Special. Freaking Yukon for $350. Pretty solid deal. I actually really like that toolbox. It is nice. It got the whole entire freaking top up here, although I got my little RC cars and whatnot over here. And then we got all the nice drawers, like I could fit all my 1/2-inch drive stuff and all my pliers and ratchets. And then I got, my 3/8, and then in here's like body pullers and like my 1/4-inch drive because I barely use that. You got wrenches in there. In there, just kind of like crap drawers. And here we got taps, dies, all the electrical stuff that I need. Same thing with this drawer, a little extension of that. Just random stuff that I needed. This is like spare parts for the car, so I have this JDM spats I still got to put on and paint, paint and put on and whatnot. And then in here is like my extra little tool drawer for my important stuff, compression tester and Dremel and all this other stuff. So this, for the money, big bang for the buck, definitely worth it. But now, pretty much, just getting the Legacy all prepped for the track. I think I posted it before on Instagram and whatnot. I did blow the other motor. Not really too sure what exactly happened. My best guess is there was like an oil consumption problem, or even just like an oil feed problem, because I was revving it out to like 7,500 the night before, and it was feeling great, no problems whatsoever. Then no smoke, nothing like that, nothing crazy. AFRs were really great. And then the next day I went to breakfast, and it was just kind of feeling a little bit weird. And then it just started knocking when I left the stoplight. So, that was inevitable, But Jake and I were thinking that, when he tuned it, there was like a few small little finicky things that I think he was just covering up, because when we readjusted everything, it wasn't adding so much fuel idle, and it wasn't, leaning out towards the top. It was actually acting like it should have in the first place. So maybe something happened, who knows? Maybe just lost compression. But, we got rid of that motor. I really couldn't use it, and I didn't want to use it. And I don't have enough time right now to kind of take it apart and show you guys what's inside. Hopefully this other dude can, but I just did not have time. But anyways, so what I have been doing recently was I got the battery tie down in. I only had like one of the original tie down straps, or tie down tools. So I had to get the other one, kind of cut it down. It is what it is. It works. You don't need to pass that for tech. Another problem I had was my radiator fan was actually hitting my piping right here. So that wasn't good. So I just had to readjust all that tonight. It was a little overfull in oil, so I had to drain a little bit out. Not the best thing to do, but I had to. I changed out the air filter because I was getting a little bit, rich, and it was getting a little bit clogged up, because if you look right here, straight into there is the intake. So it's always getting cold there. Not really a huge deal, but, Otherwise, the agenda for this week, I already got it registered underneath my name, because before it was registered in Austin's name, so we finally made it official. This is really my car now. Granted, I've been building it for the last 6 months. But the tune's been retuned. Everything's all good with it. I just gotta really either, swap the oil out and kind of just put all fresh stuff in for the Sunday, or, well, I should really just do that, honestly. I need to drain out the radiator, put new water in it, because, it's just, I've been using the shop water here, and it's probably not the best idea for it. But besides that, I need to get in alignment this week. No big deal. Got a buddy that'll take care of that for me. So we're gonna get in alignment, -1 3/4 of camber up front, and then -2 in the rear. I still need to finish sanding this. I really don't know if it'll be done before track day, but I've been going at it, and I just keep getting tired. So it's kind of where I left it. It doesn't look half bad. Again, it's really got to be clear coated, and it's got to be clear coated, and it's got to be done on like a nice day. It can't be like this humid day where the stuff's just gonna freaking bubble up, just make my day miserable. But anyways, Also, I'm sorry, I said that that was Sunday, and it's actually June 19th. So we got another week, but I'm trying to get everything done with now so I don't have to rush last minute or anything like that. So basically, what we've been working on the side is kind of getting this Forester all set up. You know, motor was dropped off, 800 horsepower motor. It's got stage 5 heads that have, I think it was like Manly valves and springs. And then the block is an IAG block. I believe it's a stage 3 block. I don't remember off the top of my head. But inevitably, he's looking to shoot for 800. We got dual Hellcat fuel pumps to put it in the rear. All that stuff's kind of pre-ready to go. It just needs to be dropped in. We need to run AN lines all the way down the car, which kind of sucks. You know, it's a tricky situation doing that because, like, if you don't tuck it away in the right spot, you can really cause a big fire and whatnot. It's just not really ideal. Otherwise, we're just kind of waiting on more parts. We got a rotated setup on the way for him. He's going to be using this Precision 6266 turbo. Pretty meaty John, not gonna lie. Especially for, you know, 800 horsepower, it's gonna be pretty good. It's got 1700cc injectors to put into it. We're gonna be running IAG fuel rails in it, along with the injectors, obviously. We got a set of Brembos for him. We have the STI front and rear axles that we needed to get. We also have the rear hubs for, you know, the STI Brembo swap and whatnot, so we shouldn't have to get adapters. Unless we can't get that Jesus bolt out, then I guess we're gonna have to figure something out. Maybe we just unbolt the hubs themselves and see where to go from that. One thing that we've really been trying to figure out is what we're gonna do for the wiring on this car. Since it was an automatic and it was also a Forester XT versus the trans that is a Spec B trans, it's kind of like a weird swap. Like, there's not really much on them because it is such a weird swap. People don't really put Spec B trans in there, but it'll be something cool. Definitely a longer gear ratio, so that's more beneficial when he's racing it on the drag strip and whatnot. But otherwise, you know, that's just kind of what we're battling, just waiting for parts and whatnot. So I haven't really updated you guys too much on it. But on to where this video has been going to. I've been getting a lot of repetitive questions about the EJ20X Swap, so I just kind of want to go over it again, but maybe just pay a little bit more attention to detail on things. I guess we'll start with this. When you get this EJ20X, you're going to take that JDM manifold that's on that 20X, the manifold, the harness, take it all off. You don't need it. You can't use it. It's not going to work. Take that off, throw it to the side. And normally, like the ports on the back of the intake manifold, the plastic piece, you can use it, but the problem with it is most of the time in shipping, they get damaged or destroyed, so you lose some of those ports, so you can't even use them, honestly. The injectors you could use, you're going to need to retune because they're 545cc, I think. They're still slightly below the USDM model, so that's that. When you have it all bare long block that is, all you have to do, you can leave your cam position sensors, you can leave your crank sensor, you can leave your coolant temp sensor, you can leave the ABCS solenoids, you can leave all the same, all the sensors are the same. None of them are different. Your coil packs aren't different, your freaking spark plugs aren't different, but you should change them out. They're just the EJ255 ones, that's all you gotta grab. You know, and just gap them to either 0.28 to 0.30, just to make sure that they're within the spec, or 30 thousandths or 28 thousandths. I'm sorry. That's really where it needs to be. Now, when you get the motor and you're about to drop it in, I recommend that you pull the timing cover off and you check the timing gears, check the belt, check all of that in there. Just make sure it's okay before you just go slapping it in and make sure it's good, because sometimes it could be out of time, or you know, they could just have bad timing and you have a bad motor right then and there. It does not hurt to look, and it would save you some time. When you do go to do the timing on these, you use an EJ255 timing kit, but you need a 2.0 water pump because they are 2-port and the 255 kit is 3-port. So you need a 2-port from an 02 to 05, 02 to 05, 02 to 04 WRX, which is the 2.0s. Don't use a 2.5 water pump. use a 2.0. Everything else, all the timing belts, the pulleys, the bearings, all of it is from a 255. All that's pretty much interchangeable. It's all good to go. You don't need to swap your timing gears. You can leave them the way that they are. Your tuner will compensate for it. He already knows. If you really want to, and you got to get a little bit more horsepower out of it, you can take your exhaust cam gears and retard them. I believe it's 1 tooth, which is 7 degrees, and then you get a little bit more advancement in the intake timing, or intake valve timing. Other than that, everything's exactly the same. You just swap over your USDM manifold. You swap over, your wiring harness from the USDM one, because obviously it's on that side, and that's how that works. You can use the TGVs from the JDM manifold. They do have deletes in them, so that's like a small little upgrade that you can use. That's kind of free to you, even though you paid, let's say, $800 for the motor. You still get, TGV deletes with it, which are beneficial. I would keep all your old AVCS solenoids from, your previous motor that you're going to throw out, junk, rebuild, whatever. Save all those sensors. They're all interchangeable. You can keep using them. When you get the EJ20X, you can use the alternator that's on it, and you can also use the power steering pump that's on it. The AC condenser is different. You can't use it. The dipstick you need to use from the EJ20X, because the oil pan is a little bit different, the way it's designed and the way it's set up. It's a deeper pan and it has different baffling in it. Whether it's better or not, I do not know. But just as a little insight, because I know that when mine blew up, I was kind of looking at everything and trying to figure out, what was what. And I just kind of yanked it out and just saw that there was mad metallic shavings, and I was like, all right, well, there's no point in saving it. But besides that, like I said, everything is the same from the 255 to the 2.0 EJ20X. Your fuel rails are the same. All that stuff's the same. Just use your USDM manifold. You do not need to worry about a JDM ECU. You don't need to worry about emissions. You don't need to worry about any of that. You just need to go get a tune directly after you put that motor in. It's a higher compression motor. It's going to need to retard a lot of timing, because the compression that it puts out is completely different than a 255. I mean, you're talking a 9:5 to 1 to an 8 to 4 to 1. 2 different compression ratios. It's very different. The amount of boost that you get out of a 2.0 EJ20X versus like a 2.5, 255, it is dramatically different, to be honest. This thing, we got it revving out to 7,500. Nothing too crazy. I have the AEM fuel ratio set up. I have a the EJ20X boost gauge. I really forget what brand it is. I think it's the innovative one. I mean, we can also just go take a look at it. It's this Pro Sport. There we go, the Pro Sport one. I just liked how it looked. It has like a cool little, digital readout. I really liked it, so I went with that instead of the AEM one this time. Besides the fact we're running the VF52 turbo along with our equal length header and our 3-bolt up pipe with the external wastegate. That's a tile 44 millimeter. When you also get that EJ20X, you're going to need to swap over your headers, your up pipe, and your turbo, unless you want to use the twin scroll setup that they come with. You can use them. Just getting a downpipe is going to be kind of difficult. You can buy the flange off of eBay. It's like $20, and you can have it welded on. It's kind of a pain in the neck. I've done it before. It works, but it's not always the prettiest. You can also buy a downpipe from Japan for like $1,200, because Tomioka has them. Those are pretty pricey, but they are very lively with the twin scroll setup, and they do boost very fast. I just don't really recommend it overall, because the top end just falls right off. But besides that, pretty much just dialing in the car, getting it ready. I've been driving it again because I wasn't really driving it. I kind of was really reluctant to. It's just, I'd rather be able to actually have fun on the track than have something happen while I'm just driving on the street, But I got to do a shakedown. I have to drive it. I need to get some miles on it. I need to get comfortable on it again. I mean, I haven't been driving it, so I guess now's the time to do it before, I just don't really have much more time. But on the other things, we got a couple legacies for sale. Austin's going to be having one for sale as well, so stay tuned for that if you guys want to buy one. Otherwise, our next few videos will be kind of taking out the rear diff of this and then kind of getting the rest of the parts in. Like I said, there's still the rotated setup we need to get, the sway bars, end links, and all the good stuff, so that way we can get them all set up so that we can, handle that 800 horsepower, because we don't want him getting in this thing and ripping on it and not being able to control it. I mean, that's going to be one of the biggest downfalls of this boxy car, is that it's just hard to control because of the fact that it's just so big. I mean, it's box. It's gonna need some suspension upgrades while we're doing everything. So, we want them to be safe. We want this to be fairly reliable. I mean, it's got a lot of money tied up into it, and we're gonna do the best we can to get him set up so that way when tune day comes, it's all on Jake and he can have his magic and whatnot, and really figure out how far he can push it. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more content. I'll be doing a couple big videos coming up, especially with the track day being ahead. I'm very excited for it, and I can't really wait to fill you guys in on it and experience it with me. There's going to be, as long as everything goes well at the event, I plan to just kind of buy some more event tickets and whatnot and just get myself registered, get more time underneath my seat, because I kind of want to do this more and more frequently over time. It's something I very much enjoy, and it's a lot more street legal than racing around with friends in the street. I just don't want to risk it, and I don't think it's worth it, endangering other people's lives. So, like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more content. You know the drill. Stay tuned. Bye. Bada bing, bada boom.